In recent years, Rivers State has witnessed environmental pollution and devastating flood disasters, which have affected the lives and livelihoods of countless individuals and communities. In response to these challenges, the Rotary Club of Port Harcourt ECHO organized a conference to address the pressing issues of flood and environmental pollution. The conference, which held on Tuesday, 10th December 2024 at the Justice Mary Odili Judicial Institute in Port Harcourt, brought together experts, policymakers, community leaders and stakeholders from various sectors to share knowledge, experiences and best practices on the management of flood disaster and environmental pollution.
Environmental justice to natural waters simply means remediation of polluted lands, rivers, soils and air, alternative level opportunities and payment of necessary compensation in accordance with international standards. Nature is beautiful and has provided for us everything to make life beautiful and bearable. We have a civic duty to protect the environment with utmost care and with every sense of responsibility so we can bequeath to the next generation an environment that helps them meet their own needs. As I conclude, I wish to thank everyone who have partnered with us in making this conference a huge success. It is my hope that the community that will come out of this conference will be solution-oriented and help to provide solutions in the myriad of challenges facing our environment in Rivers State and the United Delta. Thank you and may God bless.
We should encourage conservation and also learn these practices in our communities. Capacity building, training program on disaster response and recovery, strengthening local institutions and effort for better coordination. It's important to be strengthening institutions for better coordination. I emphasize the need for social practice and resilience building. Thank you for listening.
The event featured drama, dances and panel discussions on flood disaster mitigation and coping strategies for vulnerable communities.
Every day people talk about government, people say this, who is the government? Because when you talk about failure of government, it's failure of citizenship. Because citizenship is ownership. A citizen is one who owns a country. The country belongs to him or her. So if you don't participate and hold the people accountable or get involved in the political system, it becomes a problem. I'm trying to address the issue of everybody government.
You know that anthropogenic factors are contributing to the growing impact of climate change. So as SDN, what we identify is the need to help regulators of the oil and gas sector to reduce emissions coming from that sector, especially in the area.
Each time, we want to go and give palliative to flood victims and all that. One thing we fail to do that observe, is medical care. You have to see, that we go there to do medical, outreach and all that. It's scarce. I mean,
we can't do that just individually because look at the code. Let's do that. Individually, they don't do anymore. It's when you put them together. So how, as people, as individuals, we can organize and put pressure on government to do the right thing.
Their prices have gone high. Even transportation has gone high. Is that the life we bargained for? Tell me, is this the life we bargained for? This is our story. Now the flood don't reach us here.
Now, this is the wrong one. But what is it? What is it?
it affects our farm. We lose vegetable in the market, we lose pepper, we lose all kinds of crops. But if we are beginning to do some sort of these things within our premises that are not affected, then we probably may not have that challenge that we are facing today. So this is just to let us know. Now, some other thing that we people are practicing that I'd like to share with us is the fact that today there is the diversification of agricultural production, exploring crop varieties that are more resilient to climate change impacts such as drought, flooding, soil degradation, and all of them, to be able to enhance food security. So what people do now is to see if after flood the soil has a lot of water, what kind of crop can we farm? So you don't farm one particular crop, you try variety. Some will do well, some will not. You would have, it's some kind of research, you would have identified which crops will do well.
It is Lord Kelvin, the British physicist, that said, what cannot be quantified cannot be understood. And what cannot be understood cannot be managed.
We are more vulnerable. Yes, we are more vulnerable than we do. And children. So, in a way, this is purely for us.
The conference organizers and some of the participants shared their thoughts on the conference.
If you see what has been happening in the last 3 to 5 years, the flood disaster in Rivers State and even in Nigeria has been reoccurring every year. And every year it comes with even in a greater intensity. And we know that it's a manifestation of climate change that is really, ravaging almost every part of the world. And Rivers State and Niger Delta was hit in Nigeria. If you take a look at the statistic of mortality of the 2012 flood, it was recorded that about 363 persons died of the floods in 2012. Just oppose that figure with that of 2022, it was 603 persons. That's almost twice the number of deaths, and it's happening every year. And whenever it happens, it's as if the government, they are taking unawares for something we know would happen. So we are putting up this conference to bring stakeholders together, professionals together, to bring up solutions on how to, fight flooding disasters in Rivers State, so that we can reduce to the barest minimum the number of deaths that are recorded every year, loss of properties. You can recall that in 2022, the flood disaster that happened in Rivers State affected the east-west road. It divided the road into two. That road was impassable for months. Business activities, economic activities were halted. Commuting within the Niger Delta states and other parts of the western part of Nigeria was almost impossible because of the damage to the road infrastructure. That's just a tip of the iceberg. What about the loss of lives? What about the loss of farmlands, livelihoods, that have been destroyed? What about the impact, the mental impact of victims who, after the floods, are left to bear the brunt of their loss? Nobody comes to their aid in terms of helping them recover from the impact of the flood. So that's why we are putting this conference together, to try and find a workable solution that will assist government in formulating policies and programs that will effectively manage flood disasters before, during, and even after the flood disaster. Because as we can see, the floods have come to stay. There is nothing we can do about it, but we can do something to cope with it, with the effects of the floods, and to reduce its impact on our lives and our livelihoods and infrastructure generally. So
we've been neglecting our environment, and it's high time something was done. Otherwise, it's already fighting back. Yes, it's already fighting back. If we don't do it within a very short time, we'll all be paying the price of it. So we're here to continue the awareness, to educate people on how the usefulness of environment and how to take care of the environment. Because like you said, like I would say, environment should be not just your friend, should be your brother as well.
Now, it's Rotary's one of Rotary's areas of focus, and it has to do with the environment. And so, we're here to sensitize and then talk about it, because the flooding has to do with us. Because if there's the awareness and consciousness that when we throw death everywhere and scatter the environment, or dump refuse in the waterways and the rest of them, at the end of the day, it comes back to haunt us. So it's both human and also natural. Yes.
For a city like Port Harcourt is surrounded by a lot of creeks and rivulets. And so a proper drainage around the city of Port Harcourt, we should not experience any kind of flood, because there are usually several drain areas where these waters can be channeled to. Then when you move beyond Port Harcourt into River State, there are certain parts of the River State that are within floodplains, like when you're going towards the Orash region and from River State to the central Niger Delta and beyond. That is the basin of which all the drainage from around the country, like the River Niger Benue system, empty through this particular basin into the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, in those places, they really have serious fluvial flooding annually, within the flood season from June, July, August, September till about October. These are the periods where they have inundated areas due to heavy rainfall. Again, if we deepen our channels, river channels by dredging, we can increase the volume of the channel that will contain these floodwaters, and with proper canalization and proper direction of floodwaters into these river systems, it will also be able to take the rivers, and the devastation that we are seeing that flood is bringing to communities within the flood region will be averted.
Flood is a problem, and some of this flood we experience in river states, Port Harcourt to be precise, is also caused by us, some of these floods, because this flood is as a result of mismanagement of waste. Sometimes we dispose waste wrongly. It finds its way into the drainages and block our drainage system. And when it rains, it causes an overflow that also impacts our environment. That's why I say flood. So most of these problems are man-made because of our behavior around the environment and how we abuse waste and how we mismanage waste.